Appa, I said yes, I will marry him. They replied nervously. He turned his face toward his Appa, this time looking in the eyes of him. I shocked. If you agree just because of me or pressure, then you don't have to, they. You said he's a good person. They said. That doesn't mean you have to say yes, especially keeping the fact in the mind that he is a child. Do you think you would be able to take that responsibility of a kid at this moment? You have a whole life in front of you. He's definitely not the only good person in the whole world. You're too young for all that. And at this moment, Appa, I have been thinking about this since I met them. The only reason I won't accept this proposal is whenever I look at her, it feels like I'm looking at myself. Complete. In every way, yet so incomplete. You have done everything for me, each and every time, much more than your capability. Everything for me. We both mean a word to each other. But Appa, there's still a curtain of emptiness without us for Uma. And I'm sure you feel it too. Look at they and understanding. They, my baby, you're so sure. Are you ready for this? Because a few days back you were crying your heart out just because of proposal, making your poor Appa worried. He said try to light the situation, as they can speak more openly to him. Appa, the world you have made around me, knowing only love. I know and understand your point. In case if you're denying the proposal just because he has a kid, then please don't. If I can be there, someone in Anne's life, whom I always needed in my life, then why not? Just trying to bring the change I've always been craving for. On my side, I don't have any issues. Further, you can look out the things decide above. It's up to you. Mr. come forward and hug his dear son and kiss his forehead. They had realized that Taehyung had grown up into a fine boy. I'm so proud of you, he said. The sky was filled with that star, but his star was in his emeralds. Deep down, they were still very nervous and afraid of leaving their loved ones. At the moment, it was little bit sacrificed their logic emotion toward Anne. Grandma and Grandpa were shocked as Mr. came after hearing the answer. In a few days, they further thought to inquire about John's and said yes to them. On the other side, John was so happy to expect the one who is getting married. Though see, facts are similar, but not identical. But the case of John and Kim's, the situation were entirely unconnected. History has been repeated itself. Mr. Kim and Jungkook, Taehyung and Ain, their parents were connecting by their same fate, going through the same pain. But this time, Taehyung's mother didn't let the history take the charge. Taehyung was sitting in front of the dressing table. You're looking a carbon copy of your mother, Jimin said, and Taehyung gave him a nervous lip smile. He always wanted to look like his mother, so he decided to wear his mother's dress, his jewelry, and did the makeup by itself. Keep it in. After their yes, the John wanted the marriage soon. In the beginning, Grandpa politely denied their wishes because he was totally against the idea of the rushing the wedding and wanted at least 6 months so they could complete his semester. But eventually, after continued insistence, they had no other choice and said yes. They fixed a marriage date and the end of the March. In the past 4 years, Job and Namjoon make him feel so comfortable around them, for which they was extremely grateful. They didn't have any immediate cousin, or Mr. Kim is the only child of caring parents and his older relatives. They have arrived already. Most of them were from the other cities. Attend their wedding. Jimin, Grandma is calling you. She's a teenage girl. So, can you please give company today? I'll come back soon, Jimin said. No, Jimin, I have to leave. The girl replied and went away. Jimin rolled his eyes and mumbled, Kids, these days, I'll be soon there, okay? He said and wished they nodded. Jimin didn't leave there alone since he had agreed for the marriage. Sometime he would stay for the night at the Kim mansion, while the other time he used to call or text him frequently. He was worried about his friend. His friend was little bit back of his hand, desperate of the attempt the height of the emotion or dilemma. He could see everything. They were sitting alone in the room, lost in the thought, and he heard that ringtone of his mobile. He saw an unknown number was displayed on the screen. They picked up the call and held it to his ear. Before he could say anything, the person from the other side said, Please, back off this marriage. Who are you? They replied with a frown in his forehead. Jungkook, the caller ID replied after a pause. Please back off this marriage. I can never accept you as a life partner. You're telling me this now? Before they could complete his sentence, Jungkook had already dropped the call. They was lost in the thought when Jimin came back after an hour in the room and said, They're here. Uncle Kim told me to bring you downstairs. They know there was no going back now. What will they tell everyone at the last moment? They took a deep breath, presenting a smile on his face, went out of the room and marched downstairs along with Jimin. He was humming a happy song. Internally, they felt that he needed to do it. If he won't, he was afraid that the pinch of sorrow creeping in his heart would ruin the hair. He had to welcome the future, and with the full of hope. I do, Tae and Jungkook said. After some time, they went to the garden for the photo shoot. Jungkook was serious all the time, not even a single emotion on his face. At the time, there was so emotion in their heart and tried to compose himself. They know, today he was supposed to act because if he cried, his Appa would be restless today. They met everyone, hugged his Appa for the longest time. Precious, it was only fear of leaving his house.